Hello everyone. Next project on the bench here is another C-Mark amplifier. This time it's the MR2350. Slightly less powerful version than the last one I had. But this one is in grubby condition. I don't know if you can see that from in the vents. It's just absolutely filthy. I mean, you've got grime everywhere. All in the LEDs, and it's just, ugh, it's grubby. By the looks of it, it's never ever been serviced or looked after. But that being said, I paid £50 for it off eBay. Well, I ended up actually paying a little bit more than £50 for it because the person, when they posted it, they gave the wrong shipping, the wrong weight and dimension details. So it ended up getting stuck in my local post office, my local sorting office, and I had to pay extra £20 fee for it. So in the end I paid £70, but I told it all works. Well, I brought it as untested. Apparently it powers up fine, but other than that, it was unable to test any further. And there goes my dim bulb on the floor. Ugh. So it got a bit battered up in shipping. It was very poorly packaged, but that can be straightened back out, I guess. Oh, well, fuse holder's been broken. Yeah, that's all right. I can soon sort that out. I've got some more fuse holders, but it looks disgusting. Absolutely disgusting inside, and it stinks. It stinks of cigarette smoke. Sadly. Ugh, let's just try and turn this around. This is so heavy. Let's see if it powers up, shall we? This is a this is gonna be mine as well personally. It's gonna add with the other C-Mark amp I've got, and that one has been running absolutely perfectly. I'm gonna be running this one in a rack with it as well. I think either that one, the other one, or this one's gonna be running a subwoofer. So yeah, I want to get this running. I will give this a full restoration, I think, because I do plan on actually restoring the other one. Even though it works perfectly, I don't know how many hours it did with its previous owner, and I've done a few hours on it now as well, so I do plan on recapping it and things like that. So I might as well just do the same straight away with this one, whether it works or not. Strip it down, clean it up, because boy, it needs a good clean. But in a second, I've just dropped my dim bulb. So let's plug it in. I'll put it on a dim bulb, and we'll come back in a second. Okay, so it's all plugged in now to a dim bulb. Very poor dim bulb setup, but it works. When I have a proper setup in here, because this is my new shed built, I do plan on having a proper dim bulb setup, but for now this one is fine, it works. Let's turn it on and see what happens, shall we? You can see the dim bulb there in the corner. That should go bright and then slowly dim down. Oh, it made me jump. Ooh, it's because it's ooh, okay, that fan's a bit noisy. But as you can see, the bulb's dimmed down. Look. The reason why it did that was because that ticking made me jump, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The reason why it did the ticking is because I've got a 60-watt bulb and it's limiting too much power. The filter caps, I had to wait for the filter caps to charge for it to let the relay out. And that's what it's doing, the relay ticking, opening and closing, didn't quite have enough power to fully lock. But oh look, unlike the other one, like where the fault light stays on for ages, because it's connected with the dim bulb, it's draining it out quicker. That's what I should do, and just keep a dim bulb on them forever, because if you see my other video, they stay lit for a very long time. So, but see, it worked. And I can definitely smell cigarette nicotine smoke. Well, it'll probably click again now, but it will. Yeah. But as you can see, it's dimmed down. Look. Boy, that fan is noisy. So it's definitely in need of service. So with a dim bulb connected, because it's in series, that will dim down quicker. It should do. Oh, maybe not. Okay. But yeah, well, it works, other than that fuse holder broken at the back. But there we go. At least we can confirm it's got no shorts. And the lights come on. Relays click out, so, well, in I should say, to allow it to pass signals. So I'm gathering it's got no massive amount of DC offset on the back. I have no intention in plugging it into speakers right now, so either way, let's plug it in and see if we get any DC offset in the back. I made this, plugs into there, because obviously you can't get a multimeter in there properly to check it, and it gives you 2 wires out for you to check DC offset on the terminals. Just obviously make sure they never touch, as you're in big problems. So let me just get the crocodile clips for my multimeter so they can stay on there, and we'll see if it's got DC offset on any of the channels. Okay, got multimeter connected up to channel A or channel 1, whatever way you want to look at it. We should see less than 10 millivolts. Would be ideal according to specs on this. 10 is a maximum, average sit around 5 millivolts. So 2.6, 2.8. There we go, lovely. 2.9, perfect. So 2.9 millivolts on channel A. Now switch to channel B, make sure we don't put it in a bridge one. Now channel B. Identical. 2.9. Very happy with that. Extremely happy with that. Looks extremely healthy. Other than that fuse holder, and it looks disgusting and grubby, so it really does need a good strip down and sort out. But unlike the other amp, this has got Torx. Look, many Torx screws. Strangely, the other one just had Phillips screws, so I need to find a little Torx head screwdriver. And we'll start opening this up. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you've got a few on the side here as well to undo on each side. So let me find the Torx thing, and let's undo it, and we'll bring you back in shortly. We'll have a good look at it together. This will be my first time looking at it, and I'll share it with you. Okay, this is screws out, and you're looking in it at the same time as I am. So let's get this cover off. Oh, she's let the screw out. She's a bit sticky. Ooh. Yeah, I got all the screws out, so I don't know why that's being. Ooh, this is filthy. Oof. There's no screw in the back. Because that bit's bent. Ooh, yeah. Okay, there's not as much filtering and all that as the other one. Oh no, it's actually quite a lot. Short the other one, the heatsink comes right to here. That's strange. This is filthy. Look at that. Oof. So if you can see that on camera, but oof. That is disgusting. You see, there's not as much going on in this one as there was the other. That's strange. On the other one I had, the bridge rectifiers are upside down using the case as the heatsink, whereas these aren't. These are actually this way up. So this is a little bit different layout and design than the other board. What plugs into that? This is definitely in need of a really good clean. What's that? Is that stained or is that burning? And the transformer isn't as big on this one as the other amp. It's a lot more manageable in size, but which fan was it that was making a ticking noise? Oh, probably this one actually, because it's really doesn't want to turn properly. Okay, this is so filthy. This is gross. By the looks of it, there isn't much capacity, isn't that on there? Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 7 capacitors. Well, that makes it a lot nicer, doesn't it? And what we got here? 4700 microfarad, 100 volt. It's just a cap. That's bulgy on that one. Okay, well, shall we start putting these boards, each channel board out, and we can start inspecting. We need to check what capacitors are on there, so I can write them down and get them ordered. I want to spot check all these emitter resistors as well. I will check all the transistors on this one. But yeah, I just want to go around the whole board and spot check everything, make sure everything's good, and get them capacitors ordered up. There's another capacitor down here as well. Oh, a couple more in here that will need to get ordered up. Another one right there that I can see as well. There looks to be nothing in none of them in the back. No. Okay. Is this? I'm gathering this board is used for current limiting as well when you turn it on. Because the other one I have is got thyristors and everything in the back in there, just to help it when it turns on, so it doesn't suck so much power, like a soft start circuit. But yeah, let's take a picture of where all these wires go. That's what I like to do, and we'll go from there. Okay, just got one of the channel boards out for now, just so I can see what values these capacitors are and the resistors. It's got 7 electrolytic capacitors, a few polyester film capacitors. Done a quick spot check on all these resistors. They all look good, all test perfectly within tolerance. This one here looks a little bit burnt. Not burnt, but it's gone dark, you know, so I will replace that regardless. That's just, what colour is it? Brown, red, black, gold. So that's 22 ohm, I believe. I believe it's 22 ohm. Maybe wrong, I will double check it because I don't trust my skills that much. I will double check it on a calculator. Yeah, just a, what is it, 3 polyester film capacitors. Everything else checks fine. All these diodes check fine. His little transistors look fine. Other than that, yeah, it looks great. I mean, it stinks to high heaven. This is absolutely reeks. It's disgusting. It's, oh, if only you could smell what I smell just from having it in front of me. It makes me feel bleh. It's really not nice, but it's gonna have to have a deep clean. You've got a typical MR2350 dual op amp. I've got hundreds of those in stock, absolutely hundreds of those. I don't know how and I don't know why. I don't know, but I've got literally over 100 of those in stock. I know when I had my PVCS 1000 amplifier, I replaced those. I ordered some more, but I don't remember ordering over 100. But I've got over 100. But it's just, yeah, this absolutely stinks. All these transistors, they test absolutely fine. No problems there. Everything tests fine. Even these little diodes on the side here, look, you can't see that, but they all test great. So I think this is actually a running amplifier. It needs a very good service and well, needs more of a clean than anything. But I said I want to keep this as my personal amplifier to go with my other one, so I will be servicing it, you know, refreshing it, bring it back to life to its former sound glory, so I can keep it, so I know it'll be working and great for years to come. But I do need to get that smell out. It's unreal. But if you go over to here, I mean, can you see the dirt? It's just, it stinks of cigarette smoke tar. It's like the dust is like sticky. You can't even see it. I don't even know I'm doing that. You can't see it, but just have to take my word for it. It's so sticky and clumpy. This fan, definitely need of service. I will pull them out and I might just see if I can get some decent replacements. They just look like, what, 60 or 80 mil fans, 80 mil. Just with, I think it's a JST connector, maybe. I think that's what it's called, a JST. I might see if I can get some replacements, some better airflow ones, you know, quieter, maybe some Noctua fans. Gonna pull these boards out as well, and so I can check the thyristors on the back there. Same with this board. Like I said, I only had one out for now because I just wanted to take down a note of the components needed. Obviously, I'll just order double for this channel. I think eventually I'm gonna get all the boards out anyway, but so I can clean it all in this chassis. But remember, there's a few capacitors behind here that I want to change as well. So that'll be just it, really. A good strip down, take note of the capacitors so I know exactly what to order. I'm ordering all nicotine capacitors because that's just what I like. If I can't get a certain value capacitor in nicotine, I'll settle for Panasonic. But I do like to try and get nicotine as much as I can. Once I pull this board out, I'm going to check these capacitors. I'm pretty sure that's just the end cap that's bulged on that. But I will check them, and I want to replace the bridge rectifiers as well. Just because I know there were a problem on the previous amp that I did. So it's just a longevity thing, so I know it's going to be reliable. But yeah, this is all I'm going to be doing, stripping it out. And it just needs a good clean, really, more than anything. Because when you power it on, the fans just blow out this horrible smell. And I can't be having that. I'm a non-smoker myself. Now, I did smoke for many years, but I've quit smoking now. So I just don't like the smell of cigarette smoke anymore. So yeah, that's my goal here. Strip it all out so I can give it a real good clean. So Let's see when I get to that point as well. Oh, and I need to order some more mesh for this as well. So yeah, we'll bring it back in once we're all ready, and you can see the next stage. Just a quick one here. Do you think this has ever been serviced? Oof. I mean, I know things like this get dusty, but it stinks. Okay, I've got it all stripped out, and now can you see how dirty it is? Ugh. My hands just feel disgusting, feel violated. So I'm going to get some dish soap and lots of water. I'm just going to soak this and scrub it until it's gleaming. Even without any components in it, the case is pretty hefty. It's got a bit of weight to it, you know. So yeah, a couple of bits broke as I was undoing them. The socket connector screw snapped off, but I can replace that. I just left that in there now for now, so I know roughly how it goes. Because I'm going to replace the fuse holder anyway, aren't I? So just left that for now. It doesn't matter if it gets wet, it's going to be replaced. So give us damn good soak. Oh, that is better. Look at that. So much nicer. I mean, you've got the stain in here from the little pad that goes down, but a couple of marks here and there, a couple of little rough spots, but it looks and smells so much nicer. I was scrubbing it with water and dish soap, right? Still smelled of nicotine. So I thought I'd try this. Oh, smell instantly gone. And, oh, yeah, they're getting tangled. Look how I managed to bring up the fans. Put that there, and there's a comparison to how they looked. I managed to open them up, clean them out, re-oil the bearings. Loads better. They might just be fine now. If not, I can grab some more. But these 24 volt fans are actually quite expensive. So if these work, I mean, I don't mind keeping them in there now. I mean, they're really nice and clean. It's so much better. So I think my next step here, I've given these boards a little bit of a clean. I want to check the solder joints on them before putting them back in. I've put my new fuse holder in there. I just need to transfer the wiring over, which I will do shortly. Ordered another socket. I think it's called a C14 socket. And I think I'm going to try and put back in there what I can put in there. Simply because I don't want to forget how the wiring goes. So I'll put back what's staying, and obviously these will stay out because they're getting restored with capacitors which have been ordered, and resistors as well. So let's put back some of the bits that I can put back and start wiring this together a little bit so I can keep track of this stuff. Okay, moving along here. We've got the important parts back in that I could put back in. Transformer, filtering and power board. Check the fuses, check the connections on the fuses, on the fuse holders to make sure they're all good and clean. They are. I cleaned up the output and input board with alcohol, double checked the solder joints, all is good, because I was a bit curious about these here. You see like the copper trace and it's solder tin. I've checked all the connections with a multimeter on continuity mode to make sure there is a connection and everything's perfect. I was just about to order the capacitors needed, and I actually got a message off eBay from the seller of this, because I told him that I'm going to be restoring it, and no joke, he actually provided receipts to show that he had actually replaced the capacitors. And sure enough, I have checked every single capacitor and resistor on these boards, and they are perfectly. Like, they're like brand new capacitors. I was a bit curious why like these boards are so filthy. I mean, look at the nicotine stains. Yeah, that's all nicotine staining. And I was curious about why the, you know, the capacitors all look new. They still look fresh and clean, whereas everything else looks filthy, you know. And sure enough, yeah, it's been confirmed the capacitors have been replaced. So pricing it up, as of right now, I don't think it's needed to replace the capacitors. Because, you know, nicotine capacitors, to buy a set to do the whole thing is not cheap. And at this point, I feel like it will just be a massive waste of money. They have been replaced. He said he checked the emitter resistors. He said he did buy some, but he said they all tested perfectly in tolerance, so he didn't bother replacing them. Sure enough, he seems correct. They all test great. So while I was in talks with him, I said, you know, why is it being sold as spares or repairs? I said, it powers up fine. And he said it's actually always had a problem from brand new. I was like, okay, so, you know, what is the problem? He said one of the channels never worked. If I had it on stereo mode, to switch it back on stereo mode, and had two inputs connected for channel A and channel B, he said I'd only get sound out of channel B. He said, but if I click parallel switch, you know, because it takes the one input and puts it between two channels, he said it's always worked. And sure enough, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me try and zoom in here. Can you see there? Right there on the end, look. That was a little bit of a torn trace from factory. So I just put a little bit of blob of solder across it and then checked it with a multimeter. And sure enough, now it works. Because originally I took a multimeter and I checked between socket and you know, the solder points here and here. I was checking each input versus to here, see if it come to here, which it did, and then to here. And when I plugged in on, I believe it was this one, yeah, it's this one here, plugged in a 1/4 inch socket, there was actually no connection to here. Again, like I said, a little tiny torn trace right in between the two pins there, so I just bridged it with a little bit of solder, and now it's perfect. So I'm very inclined to believe everything this person has been telling me, because this amplifier doesn't look like it's been tampered with. So yeah, so I'm not going to replace the capacitors right now. I've kept the list of the capacitors, and if need be, if I find that it needs to be replaced, I will. But as of right now, I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to be applying fresh thermal paste to the transistors. I've checked every single thing on both boards. Everything is absolutely perfect. Before putting this board in, I checked the field capacitors as well. It all tested great. I had to replace the bolts and nuts that hold this board up, so it's on risers. They were so gunked and like rusty, they just snapped getting them out, so I had to replace those. And the standoffs weren't much better, so I just quickly 3D printed some standoffs for it. But other than that, everything is great. So now the next step would be I'm going to clean these boards, because they are gross. I have cleaned the potentiometers with isopropyl alcohol for now. It seems to feel a lot better, feels a lot smoother, because before it was quite stiff to turn this potentiometer. But now it's really smooth, and I can solidly feel the clicks, whereas you couldn't before on this one. No, you can. But I've got some contact cleaner coming in the post to spray them up again, but for now they seem to be fine. I've had a multimeter on the connections, so if you didn't know, One's input, one's output, and one is ground. I've checked the resistance going up and down, and before this one was a little bit scratchy, but now it feels a lot better just with alcohol in it. But like I said, I've got some proper contact cleaner in the post. I will be putting some of that in it as well, just to be double sure. But everything's back in, wired up. I'm happy with how it is. Everything's cleaned up really, really nice. It's got the smell of nicotine off it. I'm very happy with how this amplifier is coming along now. So the next stage is just to clean these boards, and well, I'll be back. I'll give you a little look at what it looks like when they're clean. Give you a before and after. Okay, this is one of the boards, amplifier boards. Look how much cleaner that looks, as opposed to, I left everyone on the floor. And grab this, because I was just about to clean this one, as opposed to this, look. Before, one that hasn't been cleaned, and one that has been cleaned. Oh, that one's so much better. The smell is completely gone off it. And I'm very happy with how that one's came out. There's a bit of discoloration, but it's not nothing major. Main part is the smell's gone. I haven't got to deal with that when I power it up. So let me just clean this one up. And all I'm basically doing is I'm doing it on the floor here. And I've got, where is it gone? That's 99.9% isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. That's all I'm doing. Whoops. Giving it a really good soak and a really good scrub. Trying to get in every nook and cranny under the resistors, absolutely everywhere that I can get this toothbrush to go into. I will do this a couple of times. I will clean it, spray it off, and then do it again a couple of times. Until I'm happy. I mean, look at that. That's staining. But you get the idea what I'm doing. So give me a second, I'll finish this off, and I'll come back with you. This is just a flush down of the first clean. And can you see the colour of the alcohol coming out? That's all nicotine. That's just after the first little clean. It's looking so much better already. But I'm going to do it a couple of times just to make sure, and then get all around in there and everything, everywhere that I can get. So I'm just going to finish this off. Well, isn't that looking so much nicer? More presentable, better smelling. I'm happy with that. There's a couple of these stainings are really hard to shift. I think some of it is heat. It's not helping the situation, but they are clean. I know they are clean. They've been cleaned 3 times, scrubbed and sprayed down. And to help dry and get all the alcohol from underneath the resistors, relay, capacitors and whatever, I've got a little diesel heater from my shed. I'll just put that on for a few minutes with warm air and help dry it out. So next thing now is heatsink. Take off these, clean the heatsink paste, and reapply. Screw them back down, and I think we're pretty much good for them to go back in the machine. I need to get some, I've ordered some filter mesh for the front panel, and I've just got to wait for that to come in the post. And I think we should still be pretty good. So let's say we put them, well, no, I've got to do the thermal paste first, haven't I? And then we can put them back in there. So nice little easy job. I think it's got micro insulators. You have to be really careful not to crack these. You crack them, it's game over. You have to replace them. Luckily I've got a few in stock, but 3 or 4 in stock, so I've got to be really careful. And so yeah, let's just do the thermal paste and they'll be all good to go. I'm very happy with every reading this whole board's given me. All these diodes test perfectly with great forward voltage. I'm very happy. So the op amps are all good. They check fine. Well, just looking from the data sheet to each pin what estimated resistance should be, and the ground pins connect to ground fine, so there's no bad solder joints. But these op amps are usually pretty good, so I can't see them being a problem. If they are, I've got some sockets and I've got over 100, so I can put another one in there and in there, so it's not a big deal. If they're a little bit leaky or not, they shouldn't be. They're pretty durable op amps, really. So yeah, let's just do the thermal paste and they can go back in the machine and get wired back in, I think. Ah, that's better. It's actually looking like an amplifier now. Just got to tidy these up with some cable ties, just to help with airflow, make it look a little bit neater. But all in all, they are back in, wired back up, bolted in place nicely. Basically all we've got to do now is wait for a few things to come in the post. Contact cleaner for these, air filter mesh for the front grille, and obviously, you know, just a little tidy up. That's all it needs. That's all this amplifier needs now. A few cable ties here and there, and it's smelling so much better. So shall we be cheeky and give it a little power up now? I think we should. Why not? I can't wait. Okay, she's all powered in. She's connected to my laptop, playing some copyright-free music. Switch her on and see how she does. I've got some cheap test, well, some mission speakers, cheap test bookshelf speakers, and let's try it. There we go. Channel A. Channel B. Rewind. Fans are working nicely. Nice and quiet too. that's better. Just need to button it out now, tidy it up a little bit. The mesh in the front grille. And we're done. That was fun having a little playtime. We'll have a better playtime when it's finished. When it's all buttoned up, put back together and ready to go. Well, that looks a lot more like it. I've got some filter mesh. As you can see, I've already cut some out. I've already fitted it in there and fitted the back panel. It's looking good, looking nice and clean. I'm loving it. I have got one thing I'm not 100% about though. The 1/4 inch jack on channel A. It's a little tiny bit temperamental. It works, but when I have the cable in, if I run a multimeter from the positive and the negative and twist that 1/4 inch jack, I get a intermittent beep. What I mean by that is when I have the multimeter on continuous, it beeps with a connection. I can have it connected up there and then into the back of the jack, and it'll all connect fine. I'll get a constant beep, but every little wiggle, the beep will just suddenly, ever so slightly break up. It won't stop beeping, so there's always a constant connection there, but it feels like a bit of a dirty connection, and I'm not quite happy with that. Testing it and running it, fine, not a problem, because obviously you don't use or move the cables when you're running it, but just from my personal standpoint, I want it to be absolutely perfect. So I've ordered a new socket. That's a 6.35mm TRS stereo vertical socket. So I've just got to wait for that to come in the post and then pull this board back out and change that. Like I said, it's not a massive deal. Like I said, you don't wiggle the wires and move them when you're running it and operating it, but I want to change that. I sprayed contact cleaner in it as well as alcohol, give it a really good soak out, and kept on putting the jack in and out, turning it to help clean the contacts, but it feels better, but it's still not 100%, and I'm really not happy with that. Not 100% happy, so I'm going to replace it. But yeah, as you see, I've got the contact cleaner now. I've actually checked this stuff. This is actually, it seems all right. Fast evaporating, cleans pretty well, and it doesn't leave any residue, so I'm very happy with that. But I've done it in the potentiometers again, and perfect. So other than that socket now that I need to replace, that one right there, that's the last thing I believe I have to do on this. And it's just cable tie these wires together, neaten it up, and then the cover can go back on it. So almost done. And so far, honestly, I've really enjoyed it. This is gonna run lovely in my rack. So let me just wait for that socket to arrive and we'll pull that board out and do that. Okay, so we've got that board out at the back there. It's actually quite easy to remove while the amplifier is still in place. Just had to disconnect the fan connector here just to get it out. I've replaced the socket. This is the old socket there. It's missing the tip, most of the tip bit inside, so it's making a very bad connection. But anyway, I've got the new one installed here. Gave this one a really good clean out as well. I actually removed that off the board too, and gave it a good clean out with electrical contact cleaner and alcohol. And other than the colour difference, but all seems to be good. Then I can go back in there and we are basically home free. So that can go back in there, some cable ties around this, and we are all done. I said this was just a last minute just decision to change that because I want it to be perfect. I don't want no shortcuts taken on it. If there was a very slight chance of a poor connection, then it's got to be replaced, in my opinion. There's no shortcuts here. It all has to be done properly. So this is exactly what I've done with the entire amplifier. I've checked every single part meticulously to make sure it is 100% good and, you know, good for use. So this is no exception. You know, this has got to be perfect too. And now it is. I've got great connection. So let's put that back in the board and we can almost button this thing up. Wow, what a difference it looks like now, look, compared to what it was. Huge difference. So we'll just get this done and we're ready to tidy up and button up. Well, there we go. We've got the board all back in and a little nice tight connection, look. That's brilliant. Got a cable tied up just to keep the cables together nicely, away from the board, keep a bit of airflow, so that'll never be a problem. So yeah, I think we're about ready now. Let's get the cover on, screwed back together and give us a good test. Okay, she's all buttoned up now. Give another little clean on top and print a level.
Now to sky.
Change that track. You can see that she's looking so much nicer compared to what she was. Super clean. There we go. What a lovely amplifier. Really enjoyed doing this. So yeah, join me on my next project whenever that comes up. Thank you for watching, guys.